Red team operations in terms of back-end infrastructure is quite an interesting topic to think about. In fact, you may notice that this section is a bit short. That's because we've actually covered red team operations in this course already. Well, don't believe me? Let's take a look at this title slide we're on. We're reusing the slides for the infrastructure operations in this lecture. So the purpose of this lecture is specifically to address a few nuances, but otherwise, all of the things that I taught you about in infrastructure operations and DevOps is exactly the same for back-end engineering on red team operations. It is truly the same, not just fundamentally. If you want, you can even use the same standard technologies for red teaming. You could even use Terraform to configure your environment, Salt Stack as a C2 server if you wanted, or maybe even take a look at Docker into configuring containers for various other activities. You don't even need things like Metasploit to run red team infrastructure. Many red teams develop custom tooling at times anyway. The sky's really the limit, and it's honestly all relying on how strong your system administration fundamentals are. And that can be enhanced with automation and tools of the new DevOps era that we're in. That said, there are nuances specific to red team infrastructure that don't quite apply to the standard stuff. There are various tools that need to be configured, various network configurations to be applied that just frankly aren't normal for regular IT operations. One example is the concept of network redirection, and we'll cover that in a later lecture. In fact, network communications in general are different to some extent. You often need to support VPN services, catching reverse shells over anything from HTTPS to DNS, and be able to manage traffic flows that no normal app manages in any standard configuration. It's really different. But that's why we are hackers. We use things in ways that they're not intended to be used, and we make them work pretty great while we're at it. You do need to learn about various C2 frameworks, tools like GoFish, Responder, and many other tools. That's true. That said, the moral of this lecture is, to be a great offensive security engineer for the back-end infrastructure of a red team, you basically just need to be a really offensively minded platform engineer or system administrator. All the fundamentals are the same. It's the mindset of how you apply them and how well you understand your tools of the trade that are different. We will learn about quite a few standard tools of the trade as we go, and I will walk you through how to configure and use them so that way you have something in your tool belt at the end of all this. But remember, fundamentals and foundation go a long way. You'll get way more out of building a full Active Directory environment if you've never done that before than you will learning how to set up Empire or any other C2 tool. I assure you that. With that, I'll see you in the next lesson where we will cover the hands-on scenarios that we're about to dive into.